And the Montreal Carabin. Montreal seeded 4th coming into the tournament as the RSEC champions out of Quebec. Windsor Lancers the 3rd seed, the bronze medalist out of the OUA, and the 8th seed in the tournament. Windsor actually taking the first set yesterday against the top seeded Trinity Western Spartans. Montreal losing a heartbreaker in 5 to the host McMaster Marauders in the 4-5 matchup. A jam-packed Burridge Gymnasium last night, up 2 sets to none, and then losing 3 in a row. I'm Kyle Compo, joined alongside by Tom McCabe. And Tom, a lot of key pieces to watch out for on both sides. Montreal perhaps a little bit more depth, but some strength the other side as well from Bouchard and Jemmy in particular for Windsor.
Absolutely. We see a bit of a different lineup. If you look on the Montreal side, a team much more veteran heavy, a lot of older core players that have been with this program for 3, 4, 5 years. And on the Windsor side, really anchored by Johnson the 2nd year, as well as Jemmy on the right side, who's a 3rd year. Nolan Langley as well. Been a very good setter for this Windsor team, despite his size. A lot of people definitely is the first thing they point out, but he's anchored them well the last 2 years. Came in, started in his 1st year. And like we talked about in the broadcast last night, a very promising future for the Windsor Lancers volleyball program, making their first appearance at the national championship this season.
Bouchard with the attack out of the pipe right away, and it's a 3-1 Windsor lead to start this match. And the service error that time goes out the length of the court. So it's 3-2 off the hop, and some pieces to watch out for. Gabriel Chancy, the setter from Montreal, excellent yesterday against McMaster. Ali Franciol, left side number 8 for the Carabin, who will be leaving after this tournament. They have number 18, Godefroy Véron-Trudel. Philippe Carrier back to serve number 4. Riopel, the libero, number 9. And some big pieces in the middle, including number 16. Mikhail Dagenet, who gets the touch over top of the block there. And getting called for the double touch there will be John Mote. So a lot of pieces on both sides of the court. And it's a 3-3 start early on. Based on seeding, you would think, Tom, that Montreal would be the favorite in this matchup. Early on here, though, it's 3-3. And we just saw the 6-7 matchup on the consolation side as well. The UNB Varsity Reds sweeping away the Queens Gales to put an end to their season. And UNB will play the winner of this game tomorrow, with the loser's season coming to an end this afternoon. Set to the inside. Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
You mentioned seeding sort of playing a factor into how you think the game will go. Great dig there by Adam Child, but came in yesterday. Went to the last seed facing off against the number 1 seed Trinity Western. They gave them a lot of trouble coming out of the gate. They had a great first set. They hit 500% as a team. And then Trinity Western just sort of made the proper adjustments and took over in the next 3, really limiting what Windsor is able to do offensively.
Trinity Western surgical from set 2 through 4 yesterday. They're missing Eric Lepke yesterday, the All-Canadian. We'll see if he is back in action tonight against the McMaster Marauders. And there's another demonstration of just how strong Gabriel Chancy is with his hands. Good push to the outside and no spin coming off that ball at all, Tom. Quite sure-handed, number 1 for Montreal, but they trail 5-3 early in the first.
Chauncey had a terrific match yesterday against the host Marauders. 45 assists. He was named player of the game for the Carabin. He has a season-high 51 assists. That came in a win against Laval.
The overpass there as the Lancer is able to scramble and keep the ball alive, pushing to the far side. Dami Alalade getting the start today for the Lancers. He came in yesterday and filled in nicely. So we'll see if he continues to log some time here today. And again, Windsor not expected to be in this tournament, but certainly capable. They upset the Ryerson Rams in the bronze medal game in the OUA Final Four. And a tough loss for the Rams volleyball program for sure, as they had the horses this year to perhaps make some noise in this tournament, but a little disappointing end result for them. But Windsor more than capable of being here. They are the 8th seed, but are not playing like it early. They regain their lead and swing from the backcourt there from Brad Jemmy.
Brad Jemmy, a huge part of this offense. Nolan Langley loves to flick it back to him, loves going against the flow of the rally. Jemmy is a 2nd-team All-Star this year in the Western Conference. 3rd-year player here for the Windsor Lancers. He's a team leader in kills per set.
And a serve there from Langley. It's a deep flow. Chauncey with a great read inside. Unable to get contact with it was Pedno. And he sent over. They'll try to go again. Great flick back this time. And they're going to call backcourt set there on Chauncey.
I think they might be calling that Véron-Trudel is over the attack line on the C-ball attack. Carabin don't seem to agree, but nonetheless, you see how the speed of that right side ball from Chauncey is just incredible to watch.
And able to turn his body completely around and flick it back behind him. Does it once again. This time, Véron Trudel not going to make the mistake. Stays well behind the line. And the battle is popped up. Cross-court attack winner that time from Pierce Johnson. Good pickup on the set there by Nolan Langley.
Really nice shot from Johnson. The Carabin had that block set right up to the pin. The only shot Johnson really had was that real sharp cross angle, which is a hard shot to hit and place it in. Great ball control from him, helping give the Lancers a 3-point advantage here early on.
And a service error this time from Langley. Go back, Gabriel Chauncey. So setters will switch positions here. Chauncey goes back to the service line, and backcourt hands now upcoming on this sequence through for the Carabin. So 3 attackers, Véron Trudel, Francillon, and Pedneau. So a big list of hitters at the net. An equally impressive blocking. Chauncey goes outside to Francillon, comes across. Ali Francillon, great read on the block, comes outside that left shoulder of Alalade, and no defensive coverage there from the Lancers.
Francillon, one of the captains of this Carabin squad, had a very productive match yesterday, kind of quietly almost. Had a lot of really nice shots. He used the McMaster block very well. Seen a lot more power from him today. Really swing with that fastball, but
Chauncey able to fix and gets it up to Pedneau. Swings it off the hands of Alalade and out of play. So a service error that time on Montreal. So it goes out the length of the court. Pierce Johnson back to serve for Windsor. It's a tight set early on. 9-8 is the lead in favor of the 8th-seeded Lancers. Float serve, deep, just out past the court. Great looking serve, but just a little bit too heavy out the back.
Yeah, a few service errors early from both teams. Mentioned a few times already this weekend, the draft that is kind of known to be in this McMaster Gymnasium. Sometimes carrying those float serves, just the extra foot or two to take them out the backcourt.
Bouchard with the attack on the left side, comes back the other way. It's a swing on the far side from Cartier, goes off the block and out of bounds. Point goes to Montreal, and now Ali Francillon back to serve for Montreal. So they'll try to create a little separation here midway through this first set. Francillon with a serve. Pass from Child. Langley to the outside. Push across there from Jemmy. Riopel keeps it alive. Push from Francillon to the backcourt. Child keeps that one up. Alalade with the attack, and Pedneau called on the net. Point goes to Windsor on a good rally on both sides of the net.
Big side out there for Windsor. We're going to be happy to have number 15, John Moat, their #1 middle and the #1 blocker in the OUA, step back onto the floor. On the flip side as well, we got a really good blocking matchup in the middle. Number 16, Desjardins, who's off the floor right now for the Carabin, led his conference as well, and actually the country in blocks per set. As you see, his middle counterpart, Pedneau, gets a kill. That will bring Desjardins back into the game. So keep an eye on the middle here. We got 2 of the best blockers in the country right now squaring off.
So much range on those attacks from Louis-Carl Pedneau, but full credit goes to the set again of Chauncey, who just continues to find them in times when you think it's not possible. And there's a respond the other way. A good setup by Nolan Langley. Finds the attack in the middle to Moat. And we're tied again. It's this time at 11.
I know we mentioned the blocking skill of John Moat, but very athletic, very tall for a middle. He gets off, releases quickly, gets to the attack line. Really good attacking, especially in transition. Very physical attacker.
And a service ace this time for Brad Jemmy. Finds that back corner. Touches that touch line there at position 6. So the edge goes back to Windsor, leading 12-11.
For Montreal here, definitely looking to take advantage of the size mismatch you have with Nolan Langley blocking in the front row.
What a serve that time from Brad Jemmy. Not even a touch on the other side from Montreal. Timeout for the Carabin. They're going to have to talk things over. 13-11 the lead now for the Windsor Lancers. Good back and forth though to start this match, but I think it's safe to say that Windsor in control right now. as they've had the last few points go their way and hold on as we approach the technical timeout.
Yeah, and if Windsor can keep up this aggression from the service line through the game, that'll be huge for them. Try to bring Chauncey off the net, not allow Montreal to run as much middle as much as they'd like. Just to see there on the replay, so fast to the right side. Chauncey, a player who's had a lot of international experience. Also interesting to know his father is in attendance this weekend. He's actually the athletic director at the University of Montreal. Jean-Pierre used to coach the women's team as well. Young Chauncey used to come out to some of their practices, play with them. What a great quarterback he is for this Carabin offense. Player who'll be playing volleyball for most of his life. He's really fun to watch.
This time the serve from Jemmy goes well wide or well long. Goes out the back. So Godefroy Veyron Trudel back to serve for Montreal. 3 in serve receive for the Lancers and 1 tuck back, leaving it Jemmy as the outlet. Good reception that time. Langley to the pipe, pushes across, nobody in coverage there. As trying to scramble back was Roland Bouchard, as the push from Johnson met by a block by Dagenet, who you said is huge at the net for Montreal. Yeah,
Johnson just sort of somewhat soon trying to recycle that ball off of the block of Montreal, but that's going to be tough to do, especially when you have Dagenet in the front row.
Johnson picks that one up, make that Bouchard. They go across to Jemmy, who answers the call, wipes it off the block there of Carrier and Dagenet on that far side. So the point trading continues. This time it is the Lancers back on top, leading 14-13.
Really like that set on the last side out from Nolan Langley. Going almost full length of the court to get that out to Jemmy for the back row attack. See, Windsor, you really got to try to make Dagenet work laterally, create a lot of distance, make him have to cover a lot of ground to get out and close his blocks. And a great swing from Jemmy to finish it off. Now we're knotted up at 14.
Deep float serve from Bouchard was a service error, gives the ball back to Carrier. Sends it back the other way. Push to the outside to Langley, and the tip comes back off the face there of Pierce Johnson. For the point one there for Montreal is within a single point of reaching the tech timeout. So the midway through, after Montreal called their timeout top, certainly rallying back, and now they take the lead.
Yeah, and Carrier, a player who had a tremendous day from the service line yesterday. You might not know it just from looking at the box score. Didn't really have too many aces, but he places the ball so well. As I put a jinx him a little bit there, as we talked about yesterday, but nonetheless, he had a terrific day. He put the MAC offense in trouble a lot. We saw it just a few points ago. He brought Langley off the net, handcuffed Johnson a little bit with some good placement on his float serve.
So next point will take us to the tech timeout regardless of direction. It's 15 right now, and a swing into Dagenet, cuts it across. That's tough to do, to angle your way out of the middle, especially to cut across into position one. A hard attack from Mikhail Dagenet takes us to the first set. Technical timeout, 16-15, the lead in favor of Montreal.
And Alalay just made a poor blocking decision there, sort of went up with Chauncey, wasn't able to time it properly with Dagenet, and that's going to be a mismatch Montreal will be able to take advantage of a lot, just in terms of the pure size differential between the Montreal middles and the middle blockers of the Windsor Lancers.
So these two teams, 4th seeded and 8th seeded in the tournament. Again, the Quebec Conference champions, Montreal Carabin, defeating the Laval Rouge et Or in the Quebec Conference final. And the Windsor Lancers making a bit of an underdog run through the OUA playoffs and qualifying with a win over Ryerson. So the OUA getting 3 berths at this national championship by virtue of McMaster's host bid, the OUA championship bid, and last year's national medal bid. So Windsor, the benefactor of that, and now come into this tournament losing yesterday to Trinity Western after a little bit of a scare in the first set, losing in 4. And now trailing by a single point here. Langley pushed to the outside. Cross-court attack goes wide and out of play on the swing there from Pierce Johnson.
Pierce Johnson looking for that same cross-court angle. He was able to score on earlier in the set, but just a little too much on it. Coach James Gravel offering him a little insight on where that block's setting up. They look to be taking away his line shot.
And he cuts cross again this time, and it's out once again. A tough couple of sequences there from Johnson, but credit Langley for coming right back to one of his better hitters. They come to Johnson, and that's going to force Windsor to take a timeout. And we'll see if Johnson can make that adjustment. But as you said, Tom, they're closing that block a little bit further, closer to the line, and forcing him to come cross, and he's trying to overcompensate perhaps a little bit, and the last 2 swings have gone wide of the court.
Yeah, just a little bit of overcompensation on the attack. He had just Chauncey on that last play going up with Malone, so he definitely knew he had the cross-court option open, but just trying to bury it deep corner, and a bit too much mustard on it.
Here's a couple looks at the attacks from Johnson, and gets a push tip there, but that's the one that came back and clipped him in the face on the way out. There's a backcourt swing there from Jemmy, who again brings a lot of dimension and firepower to this Windsor offense. Teams come back out of the timeout, the first timeout of the set there for Windsor. So now the team's at 1 timeout remaining apiece. But after that timeout, we said it again, Tom, after Montreal took that timeout down 3 points midway through before the Tech timeout, gone on a bit of a run, and now up by 2 after the service error from Dagenet. But see if they can muscle their way now to a first set victory as they make a substitution, coming in Kasich Yassin.
Yassin Cassis. This guy flip it around. The defensive specialist saw Cassis a lot yesterday, sub in against the Marauders for some passing and defense out of the back row. Montreal not running a ton of offense in terms of the pipe. They'd love to run Bayron Trudel on the C-ball, but a good strategic decision.
And Langley with a nice floater leads to an overpass and then a miscommunication between Langley and Jemmy as the ball drops down to the floor. That's a frustrating point to lose there for Windsor, especially after a strong serve from Langley.
Lancers now happy to have Jemmy back in the front row. They're really going to need him to hit efficiently here if they want to try to crawl back into this set.
Pass up from Child to come across, another attacking error from Jemmy. Goes out the length of the court. So a strong start to the set for Windsor, but starting to fall apart a little bit now late in the set, down 20-16. Not out of it by any stretch, but it's a strong Montreal team with Chauncey back to serve. He's got a hard spin serve. Handled nicely that time, though, by Johnson. Second hand's taken by Cassis. Push to the outside. Double block there, led by Elolade. Double block down, point to the Windsor Lancers.
Windsor, one of the best blocking teams in the OUA. They're second in the OUA in total blocks. If they can get out there close and just be solid, they're able to shut down almost any offense in the country. Saw a few nice blocks last night against the Spartans.
Chauncey, push to the far side. Bayron Trudel with a hard attack on the left side when he gets that rotation up. It's a big swing from number 18 for Montreal.
Yeah, he is definitely their favorite target to go to, especially in a side-out situation like that. Get the ball back on their side. Try to play some block defense to earn some points.
And some of the opposites that get that left side rotation have their eyes kind of wide as saucers sometimes when they get that set to the left side, and Bayron Trudel no exception there. 21-18 the lead now for the Carabin. They got Bayron Trudel, Pedno, and Chauncey. Chauncey backhands at the moment with Pedno in the middle. Set comes in tight. Chauncey fixing it up, and Bayron Trudel, excellent fix by Gabriel Chauncey.
Really just showing the touch there on the one-handed flick to the right side. Not an easy set to make. But he sets up his teammate from the summer, Godfrey Bayron Trudel, who was a member of the national team who went to the Universiade in Taiwan, coached by none other than Windsor head coach James Gravel. So a few players and coaches knowing each other fairly well in this matchup.
So Chauncey gets a nice fix on the set, forces Gravel to call another timeout here for Windsor. 4 points is the lead right now for the Carabin. See if they can close out, pushing 3-2 set point here.
Montreal's done a really good job. They've been keying in, it seems like, on number 7, Pierce Johnson on Windsor on their service. Hasn't been able to push his passes up to the net for setter Nolan Langley, bringing him off a little bit, and that's caused this Windsor offense to become a bit more predictable, a bit more one-dimensional, and allow that big block to make some easier reads. And if you're Windsor, you really just need to hope for some better offense, just a little more consistent. We've seen, a 4-point gap right now and at least 3 or 4 attacking errors that were unforced by Windsor.
Louis-Carl Pedneau with a deep float serve. Langley comes to the inside. Pass nice out of the back from Francillon. Carrier with a swing, and the Lancers on the net. And it's one thing to see some of the big Carabin swingers like Ali Francillon contributing offensively, but really nice to add that extra dimension into their game with strong defense. That's exactly what was demonstrated there.
Montreal's a terrific digging team, anchored by their libero. Oliver Riopil's off the floor right now as the middle Pedneau continues to serve, but they are a scrappy team defensively. A lot of people talking about defense often as much a mentality as it is a skill.
And even in the face of some high-stress situations where the kind of a scramble play comes over, you see Chauncey just composed underneath, little flick to the right side and catches the Windsor defense off guard, forcing that backcourt right side position player to pick up the angle, but not going to get it there with a quick set. Deep float serve again. Comes inside, and setting this time for the Lancers is number 12, Anthony DiGirolamo.
That's a mouthful. Nice set from him, coming in, contributing right away with a nice run to the middle for Moat. Windsor gonna have to hope for some strong blocking run here.
And a short serve on the spinner there from Brad Jemmy puts an end to the opening set. The Montreal Carabin take it 25-19 and lead the match 1-0. Join us back for second set action here at the Burridge Gymnasium. You're watching the 2018 USports Men's Volleyball National Championship live on USports Live.
Every day is a chance to flip the script. An invitation to take everything we know and reinvent it. It takes courage. It's an obsession. Never settling for just good enough. It takes a true creator to make something out of nothing. It takes guts. Calling all creators. Those who see obstacles as a chance to win bigger. Calling all creators, the game changers, the difference makers, the boundary breakers, the tomorrow takers. Calling all creators. Get up, invent, adapt, write new rules. Calling all creators. It's a new day, create something.
Enterprise is a Canadian leader in strategic communications, public affairs, and public relations. We look inside to uncover the stories and emotional drivers that are key to moving audiences in a digital world. Look inside.
And welcome back to the Burridge Gymnasium on the campus of McMaster University. The second consolation semifinal. First set in the books goes the way of the Montreal Carabin, the 4th seed in the tournament, taking on the 8th seeded Windsor Lancers. And a good back and forth between the Lancers and Carabin that set, Tom, but Montreal being able to pull through in the end and get the set victory. As we queue up set number 2 here, we'll see if the Lancers can respond or if Montreal will go up 2-0.
Yeah, and if I'm head coach James Gravel of the Windsor Lancers, the main message I'm getting across to my squad right now is we need to hit a lot better offensively, need to be a bit more efficient. That block can be a bit intimidating on the Carabin side, but Windsor really just having some unforced errors that weren't even necessary, hitting the ball out of bounds, trying to avoid that block, as we saw a 6-point differential in that set and 6 attacking errors by the Windsor Lancers. So that alone almost making up the difference, combined to go with 7 service errors from the Lancers. So if they can clean up play just on their side of the net, they could be in better shape moving forward in this match.
And Pedneau gets Montreal on the board first. Great pace on the attack there from Montreal. Riopel drops down to his knees to pass that ball with his fingertips, gets it up to Chauncey. Reactionary set inside to Pedno, tips it over top for the opening point of the second set. And Pedno serves. Inside attack is there as Pedno able to scramble. Carrier thought about coming out to play it. A little bit of hesitation there.
I did not understand that word, but I don't think it was very clean.
Pedno a little frustrated with his inability to get his large frame down to the floor to pass that one up. But Jemmy back to serve for Windsor. Hard spinner. Great pass by Francion. Chauncey to the outside. Carrier with the attack. They come back inside. Jemmy pushes it through out of the back court. Carrier with a roll shot over top. Jemmy gets to that one as well. And the deep ball comes out of the roll. Chauncey, pipe ball to Francion. Hits it into the back corner. Was close to the attack line on that one. And Chauncey calmly passes that first ball up. Dagenet potentially going to get called for the double, but not going to get it. Great forearm set that time, though, coming across from Langley and putting an end to the rally nonetheless was Windsor. And getting away with the hands calls there from Montreal, but Windsor wins the point.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of miscommunication. Dagenet wanting to step in and take the place of setter on that one as Riopel was trying to call him off, but a great rally by both teams. And a really nice out-of-system set from Windsor to end that one, give them the early 2-1 lead.
And Francion with another nice pass, gets it popped up.
Francion, such a technically sound passer back there. His body so calm when he receives serve. And him along with Riopel really anchors a solid defensive core in the back row.
Godefroy Véron-Trudel back to serve. It's a hard serve. It's handled nicely on serve receive. A double touch going to be called on Langley. That's a tough one for the setter to pick up sometimes with some spin coming off that first touch on serve receive.
Yeah, a lot of spin coming off that ball, which is hard enough, and then Langley sort of turning and fading away as he tried to push that ball all the way across the court. A little too much rotation on that one for the referee's liking.
Véron-Trudel with another hard serve leads to an overpass. Carrier unable to convert as Langley got a touch on the block. Comes over the top. Set to the outside. Carrier again down the line, unable to pick it up is Jemmy. And Carabin starting to roll up 4-2.
Some great recognition there from number 4, Carrier. Recognized that Moat had closed that block well and just kind of went across his body a little bit off the hands of the smaller blocker Langley and forcing that one out of bounds.
Hard serve as a service error this time from Montreal as Véron-Trudel sends it long.
Trudel struggled a little bit yesterday against the Marauder serving. He did have one ace, but also overshadowed by 8 serving errors. Montreal definitely hoping for a better performance from the service line from him, although
Carrier with a nice cut that time, though. And Langley pushes to the far side. They're going to call the point to Montreal after Windsor was called on the net.
this rotation here where the Lancers love to side out with Pierce Johnson on the outside. See if they choose to go with him here.
Floater from Carrier. Set goes inside. Great fix there by Langley, but an even better response there from Riopel, able to dive and keep the play alive. Push to the outside. Touch by Riopel again. Francion keeps it alive. Excellent defensive sequence by the Carabin. They're still going. Riopel sends it up to Chauncey. Offset to Dagenet. Véron-Trudel make that. And it's another point for the Carabin, who leads 6-3.
Montreal coach very happy with his team's blocking effort there. Just goes to show how crucial it is to try to get as many block touches as you can. You don't always need to have a stuff block, but if you can just get some positive touches, allow that ball to slow down for your defense enough to pick up and play some more offense in transition.
Service error on Carrier. Trims a point back for the Lancers. Serving will be John Moat for Windsor, trying to get the deficit back to a single point.
And a huge size mismatch, especially in the middle right now for the Montreal offense.
Francion has to scramble to get the second ball, but they're able to still attack out of it, out of the pipe. Sends to the inside and an attacking error from Alalade. Set goes inside nicely to Langley, trying to get the timing there in the middle, but as he said, Tom, a little bit of height mismatch in favor of Montreal with Dagenet up there. Maybe a little hesitation on the attack from the Windsor Lancers.
Yeah, it looked like he was really trying to cut that ball sort of back to position 5, go away from Desjardins, but found the tape instead.
Good set there by Child. Desjardins has to get down and keep that ball alive. And Vero Trudel finds the back corner.
How about the hustle from the big fella there, laying out for the one-handed dig?
I don't think he quite had a little bit of hesitation there in his step, too, so I was impressed that he was still able to get down and keep that play alive, and it worked out in Montreal's favor. Great attack by Veyron Trudel. Langley to the offside. Jemmy finds the back corner as Brad Jemmy answers for the Lancers.
Really nice shot there from Jemmy going cross court, as number 3 Bednio saying his fault on the block. Wasn't able to time that one nicely with Francillon outside.
Short serve by Langley, but clips the tape and stays in play. Petno with a cross cut. Gets that Lancers defense a little bit hesitant, unable to get the block set up in time. Just goes to show another strong inside set there from Chauncey.
And a terrific adjustment there by Petno in the air. That was a bit low. That can be really tough to adjust to when you're in middle, especially being one that tall, but a great job by him to adjust, bring his arm down just a bit, and still be able to find the court.
Chauncey had to adjust his serve there. His toss was a little too far forward. Windsor called on the net, but didn't matter. Francillon with another hard swing goes cross court, and that's going to force Windsor into taking a timeout as they trail 10-5 in this second set.
Yeah, and a really balanced attack is what we're seeing here from the Montreal Carabin. A couple players with 4 kills already. That being Pedno and Veyron Trudel with 4 each, but Chauncey doing a really good job spreading this ball around, keeping the Windsor block on their toes, not allowing them to key in on anyone too heavily, although after the performance we saw offensively from Veyron Trudel yesterday, 25 kills on 293 hitting percentage. Definitely the one guy you might be looking for a little more than the others, but really liking what I'm seeing distribution-wise from the Montreal offense.
And Thomas, someone who's played in the USports circuit for the Ryerson Rams, maybe experience what Montreal went through yesterday, up 2-0, and then losing 3 straight to the host Marauders. Is it tough to kind of come back after a loss like that to play in kind of a consolation side? Or does it still kind of give you a little bit of added edge to maybe finish the season on a winning note?
I think it's somewhere in the middle. It's definitely a tough pill to swallow in the moment. You know, really hard having that huge lead, and then obviously the momentum completely swinging back in favor of the Marauders. But the Montreal head coach was still very optimistic about the fact that their team had the potential to play 2 more games this season. He was very happy with the effort they put forth, and he really, how could you not be? It was a terrific game from start to finish on both sides. Just McMaster really just brought their offensive game to another level in the final 3 sets. And then sort of in the last couple sets, their serving really picked up as well. So not like Montreal had a poor effort yesterday at all. And like we said, they have the potential to play 2 more matches, so they've showed some great intensity here early on despite being on the consolation side. And I know they're definitely looking for what could ultimately be, if everything works out, a 5th place finish here in the tournament. And their first time in the tournament in 4 years, so why not battle to the absolute very end?
11-7 the score now in favor of Montreal as the teams trade points coming out of the Windsor timeout. We'll see Alalade back to the service line for the Lancers. A deep float serve, no spin at all. It's a great serve from him.
Great set.
Comes across to Cartier, and it's another strong effort from number 1, Gabriel Chauncey, and really demonstrating why he's one of the better players in the country, Tom.
Beautiful set, just extending his arms, firing that one all the way to the outside cleanly. Did catch the tape, but still able to find the court.
12-7 the lead in favor of Montreal. Louis-Carl Pedno back to serve for the Carabin. It's a deep serve from him. Comes in tight. Langley has to adjust. A great fix inside on the swing from John Moat.
Great aggression there from John Moat, but I think actually the point now going to swing back in favor of the Carabins. The second referee seeming to have called, or maybe the first referee calling Moat on the net on the swing. No, they're saying it was his feet. May have crossed the center line, but a confusion by the referees as they still are explaining this one, but nonetheless, point for the Carabin.
Just punching down the line, trying to make the adjustment was Roland Bouchard. That goes out of play, and Montreal's doubled up now, leading 14-7, approaching the technical timeout.
Yeah, set seeming just a little bit low and tight to the net for Bouchard to work with. Still got to try to challenge Montreal defense a little bit, not let them off the hook with a tip out of bounds.
Deep serve that time from Pedno, set to the inside. Great read there by Dagenet, but they call him on the net. So Moat matching up with Dagenet, a little nicer matchup for the Lancers at the net for right now, as Moat goes toe-to-toe with Mikhail Dagenet. Point won by Windsor. And a service error this time, though, from Jemmy. Spinner is long and out the back, and we'll get a substitution now for the Lancers. Coming in will be DeGirolamo once again for the Lancers, taking out Langley. A little bit more height at the net for the Lancers in terms of their setting.
Yeah, DeGirolamo's seen some solid action this year, being a first year. Of course, Langley only being a second year. You got a nice young setting core on the Windsor Lancers side, and a substitution. They'll try to bring a little more length up front, but nothing you can do on that one, Kyle.
Overpass out on the service seat from Windsor leads to the attack from Philippe Carrier. Takes us to the second set technical timeout. Montreal in control, up 16-8.
Some dominance there from Montreal in the last few points, especially just on the blocking and defensive side. They've really been scrappy on defense, not allowing Windsor to earn any easy kills at all.
Let's get a couple of replays here from that so far in the second set. There was the look from Chauncey going in behind to find Pedno on the back set. Well, hard hits as well. There's a great look at the angle coming from in behind. Good vantage point there. And Montreal celebrating. And Tom, kind of back to our discussion we had with the set losses yesterday from Montreal after being in control. Psychologically, it probably makes a big difference as well to be in a 2-0 position to try to close out the set, being up 2-0 and then losing 3 straight, as it would if the teams traded sets and maybe gone back and forth and losing in a 5-set thriller where each team was winning a set at a time. But yesterday, McMaster just got kind of the bugs out early, lost the first 2 sets, and then won 3 in a row. That probably doesn't do well for the psyche of a team.
No, not at all. You know, it's tough. Psychology always a huge board, especially in any loss you might have. One of the most important things really is just to let that one slide off your back. Like we said, they do get to play another game today, and they showed some great hustle through both of those sets. It's the type of game where you just kind of have to look at it and say, you know what, we just got beat. McMaster brought it. Like you said, they kind of had to shake off a bit of rust, a bit of nerves maybe, playing in front of a packed home crowd in their first game here at the national tournament. But really liking what I'm seeing early on here from the Carabins. They've just had some terrific energy.
Great job on serve receive that time by the Lancers, but they can't convert, so it comes back in a free ball opportunity. See if Dagenet can handle. Chauncey goes outside to Carrier off the block. Chauncey gets on top of it. Dagenet turns. And that's an added dimension with that height and range at the net, able to turn and just swing on the ball after Chauncey took first hands, not worrying about who's going to take second, just going to swing as if it was a perfect set opportunity.
Yeah, some great coverage there from the Carabin, recovering off some nice block touches, though, from Windsor, but Montreal able to eventually convert on what seemed to be about their third offensive opportunity in that last rally.
19-8 the lead right now, and that's going to force Windsor to take another timeout. Could be perhaps our most lopsided set of the tournament so far, Tom. We saw UBC kind of lay the wood down on the Varsity Reds in the first set yesterday, 25-11. But right now, it's Montreal could very well overtake that as the most lopsided set. Again, a little bit different from the opening set here, Montreal winning 25-18, but looks like Windsor a little bit outmatched here in the middle set.
Yeah, I really sort of starting to see the experience and the age and the physical maturity of the Montreal Carabin starting to show over this very young Windsor Lancer squad, but a great experience nonetheless, regardless of the outcome for Windsor. As we mentioned, their first appearance in the national tournament in program history.
Substitution now for Montreal. Youssef Badi coming in for the Carabin, taking out Philippe Cartier. So Batty came in. We talked about, we got a couple of guys that are doing our broadcast with us as well who are very familiar with a lot of the players on the Carabin, saying that Batty is going to be somebody to watch out for in the USports circuit for the next few years, and certainly in the RSEC circuit for the Montreal Carabin. As Jemmy comes across, double block that time by Batty and Dagenet, and Montreal continuing to steamroll here.
Terrific close by the country leader in blocks, Dagenet, on that one. Like you mentioned, Batty subbed in a first-year player for this Carabin squad, and one to watch for in future years, as the Carabin will sort of be potentially flipping over part of their roster going into next season.
Bayron Trudel with the service error gives a point back to Windsor, but still an 11-point cushion here for Montreal. Back to serve for the Lancers is Sean Spencer. Goes off the tape, handled by Batty. Chauncey inside to Dagenet, cuts across. Not much you can do there, even though Matthew Pipenito in a decent position as the Windsor libero gets a touch, but it goes off his arms and well out of play.
Yeah, just a lot of heat on that one for Dagenet's 4th kill of the afternoon.
21-9 the lead now. It's Batty. The strong serve. And the double touch called on the set by the Lancers. No timeout to save them this time, so they're just going to have to run the course here of the second set and try to regroup in the third, unless they can come out with a miracle run here to play their way back in. It looks as though Montreal is in the driver's seat to cruise to a 2-0 lead. Their hard serve from Batty, but handled nicely by Adam Child. As Riopel answers back the other way. Francion over the top. Great swing from the Carabin's number 6, Ali Francion.
It all started with the terrific serve from the sub Batty, bringing DJ Rolomo, the substitution setter for Windsor, closer to Pierce Johnson. Johnson essentially handing Montreal a free ball that they were able to then turn into a kill from Francion.
It's a heavy serve from Batty, but goes out the back, so a free point for Windsor, but still trail by 13. 23-10 is the lead. John Moat back to serve, trying to close the gap a little bit with a service run for the Lancers. Jumping float from him upcoming. Riopel with a nice handle on serve receive, across to Francion, down the line, and he can hit the ball in so many different spots, Tom. He can cut it angle, swing down the line, and just a key player for this Montreal offense.
Yeah, he's been so steady in the first two matches I've watched him play here at the national tournament. Definitely doesn't have the height of some of the other left sides that we've seen so far, but he definitely makes up for it with his shot selection and versatility.
So service or set point now upcoming for the Carabin. Push to the outside, comes down the line. Bayron Trudel picks it up. Chauncey to the outside to Francion again. Off the block, and that'll take the second set to the Carabin. And what is indeed the most lopsided set of this tournament so far, a 15-point set win for the Montreal Carabin, who are in cruise control now. We'll see if the Lancers can adjust. Join us back for third set action. You're watching the 2018 USports Men's Volleyball Championship on USports Live.
Every day's a chance to flip the script. An invitation to take everything we know and reinvent it. It takes courage. It's an obsession. Never settling for just good enough. It takes a true creator to make something out of nothing. It takes guts. Calling all creators. Those who see obstacles as a chance to win bigger. Calling all creators. The changers. The difference makers. The boundary breakers. The tomorrow takers. Calling all creators. Get up. Invent. Adapt. Write new rules. Calling all creators. It's a new day. Create something.
A proud tradition,
building youth and our nation from coast to coast to coast, creating enduring legacies, sharing excellence, while enriching Canadian culture and pride. The Canada Games is one of the largest multi-sport events in the world for developing athletes, empowering our next generation of national, international, and Olympic champions. The Canada Games, inspiring dreams and building champions.
Welcome back to the Burridge Gymnasium on the campus of McMaster University for the 2018 USports Men's Volleyball National Championship. This is consolation semifinal number 2 between the 8th-seeded Windsor Lancers and the 4th-seeded Montreal Carabins. And Montreal up 2-0 and in complete control of the match after that second set, Tom, as they won 25-10 running away. So we'll see if the Lancers can rally back here or if we'll see a similar showdown that we saw in the opening match here today between the Queens Gales and UNV Varsity Reds. Much tighter sets in that matchup, but the third set upcoming now for the Lancers and Carabins. Montreal looking very strong after that second set in particular.
Yeah, Montreal absolutely dominating, especially in the offensive side of the ball. Just one attack error for a whopping .520 hitting percentage, 14 kills for the Carabins. While on the other side of the net, the Windsor Lancers really struggled to form any sort of attack. Was hitting even with 5 kills to go along with 5 errors. Windsor just sort of letting Montreal off the hook a little bit offensively, but Montreal really has just been dominating, especially in that last set. Their block defense and their digging was especially fantastic. But I think now this is a point in the match where Montreal really needs to try to push and close out this set.
Seeing Frederic Zhang in action for the first time in these championships as he serves to start the third set. Franciel comes in tight. Chauncey, great adjustment again, finds to the outside to Batty once again. Great fix on the ball there from Chauncey.
Yeah, like just to the same point where maybe some of those memories from yesterday start creeping into being up 2-0. I know it is a much different opponent, but nonetheless a time where Montreal really needs to continue to cruise here and put a strong drive into this third set, try to come away with a victory.
Langley sets inside to John Moat, who gets Windsor on the board. Second point of the set, 1 point apiece. As Pierce Johnson back to serve for Windsor. Short serve by Johnson into the net. Gives the point right back.
Also seeing a new libero who just stepped off the floor for Windsor, Josh Rankin, the 5th year. As Adam Child now going to see some left side action.
Veyron Trudel, hard spinner. Inside Langley, pushed to the outside, tipped over the top by Child. Free ball back from Franciel. Calling for it again to the left side to Child, swing off the top. Great save there by Olivier Riopel, and then hands there from Franciel. They reset once again, push to the left side, third time for Child, wipes it off the block, and good persistence there by the Lancers. As Langley really wanted Child to finish that one off, but good display of defense there by Olivier Riopel and Ali Franciel for Montreal.
Do you like the decision making though of Nolan Langley, allowing Child some early chances here as he subs in at left side to try to end that rally? And as they say, sometimes third time is the charm. Third time could be the lucky charm, especially on this St. Patrick's Day.
They do say that. Batty back to serve for Montreal. To the service line. Be a spinner upcoming, deep serve. Handled by Pibenito. Cut across, and they'll reset here on the free ball. Cross inside Langley, tip over the top there by Moat. Chauncey outside, Franciel down the line, overpass, comes back over to Dagenet. Chauncey inside, what a set there by him to Dagenet. who has an attacking error, but Windsor called on the net, so that's a point going to Montreal.
Tough when the Carabin do hit it out of bounds. Boat bailing them out just a little bit on the block attempt. Made a good read though on Desjardins going up with him, but just a little too eager with his arms.
And a big difference, Tom, in particular with the setting ability of the guys at this level. Being able to face the net when they're setting makes such a difference, being able to see the rest of the court and seeing where the defenders are going to move, whereas a lot of setters who are setting parallel to the net sometimes don't have that luxury, and you saw it on that time through from Chauncey.
Yeah, Chauncey sort of faking that he was going to go up and attack, and at the same time he gets a chance to see where the Windsor block is going. As a setter, you are always taught to stay square parallel to the net and sort of face towards where you might be setting, but Chauncey, obviously very experienced, very skilled, able to run that fake, take a quick peek at what's going on the Windsor side and decide where he wants to go from there, but really take some split-second decision making. And he's definitely one of the best in the country at doing it.
Batty back to serve, hard, aggressive serve there from him, but it's handled there by Child. Roll shot off the end there from Johnson. Chauncey, backcourt, Véron Trudel gets it across, and Windsor called on the net once again, spoiling a great dig up top there by the libero turned left side, Adam Child.
It's a terrific serving we've seen early on here from number 7, Yusuf Bati. Subbed in midway through the last set, has really contributed a great deal to this Montreal offense and contributing a lot from the service line, as he's helped his team open up a 5-point gap here in the third set.
7-2 the score here, the timeout called by the Lancers. And at this rate, looking like Montreal potentially cruise to a 3-0 victory here and play tomorrow against the UNB Varsity Reds. The tournament and season is done for the Queens Gales, who lost 3-0 to UNB earlier on this afternoon. And we'll see Montreal coming out of the timeout, seeing if they can continue to roll here, or if the Lancers can claw their way back in.
Montreal really hoping Bati can just, honestly just put this first serve in. You never want to miss a serve, especially coming out of a timeout that the other team has called. So going to be crucial for him to try to keep putting the Lancers in trouble with his consistency from the service line.
You good? (7-2) the lead now.
Great pass.
That goes inside, and the attack there from Moat puts the lead, or deficit, back to 4 as Windsor continuing to claw away here.
That's a great side, great side out coming out of a timeout by Windsor. All started with a great pass from Adam Child in the back row.
Serving will be Moat. Deep float serve and goes the length of the court and out of bounds. Gives the point right back to the Carabin. And you see Xiong coming back in and rotating out of the libero. He's swinging out of the middle. Went to Jean de Brebeuf, first-year player. And the swing out the back this time from Roland Bouchard, who's had a tough game. Played well yesterday for Windsor.
Yeah, player of the game yesterday, but was struggling to find the court a few times in this match today, Kyle.
Picked up off the tape there as Child gets it up, and the free ball opportunity pushed over by Johnson. Chauncey goes inside in the pipe attack, but just out the back. Good swing coming out of the back that time there from Batty. Can't convert.
That's really the first in-system pipe attack we've seen from the Carabin, trying to open things up a little bit for Batty coming out of the back row. The pipe can be so effective if it does become a part of your offense. You've only got 3 blockers across from you at the net. If you can have that 4th offensive option, so go right back to it, trying to figure it out. But as you saw Kyle right away,
Batty well over top of the attack line that time and had left his feet, certainly, so didn't make the attack, but it certainly pushed it over, and that's an easy call to make for the officials as they were watching Batty the whole way through as they did run back-to-back pipes. Deep ball on the serve that time from Langley, and double touch called on the set as you hear the Lancers bench screaming out "ooh" if they're just disgust on that set there. But tough to do sometimes if you're not a setter to adjust to those spin balls coming through. Good fight back from Windsor here, down 9-6. Floater from Langley, hard serve to defend, and that's going out of Off's arms again. See if Montreal calls a timeout. They're still comfortable enough where they're going to leave it.
Great mini run here by the Windsor Lancers. Thanks largely in part to Nolan Langley's tough float serve here, putting Montreal in a bit of trouble because they can't comfortably run their offense. And as per usual in this tournament, we figured out, Kyle, I can't talk about a serving run while it's happening because that happens. I screw it up. I'm very sorry. I need to learn from this, figure out when I can put my serving comments in, but my broadcaster's jinx has just been all over the place this weekend.
Well, it was a good run by Langley for sure. It's a hard float to pass up. We saw a couple go off arms and out of play. But the trading points now is Chauncey back going on a mini service run of his own. 11-7 is the lead for the Montreal Carabins, who again lead 2 sets to none. And a hard serve by Chauncey, but it's picked up nicely on serve receive. Comes across by Johnson, but the swing is off the block and out of bounds. Bayron Trudel and Xiong coming across for the block, but it's deflected off hands. And sometimes just as effective, Tom, seeing where the block is set up and angling your shot accordingly into those hands to make it deflect out of bounds.
Yeah, that's sort of what can happen when you go aggressively at the block, regardless of how big or small it might be. Instead of trying to hit your way around it, just sort of work with it.
Sean Spencer.
Look to get those tool shots like we just saw from Johnson.
Sean Spencer into serve now for the Lancers. Deep floater from him. So he had to make the adjustment. Upcoming roll shot over the top. Good read by the libero coming across by the Lancers and Josh Rankin. And unable to get tucked underneath in time there was Langley. And it's a 4-point cushion once again. And back to serve will be Adam Maiden for the Carabins.
A nice triple block formed on that last rally by the Windsor Lancers, but a good tip shot over top to find the floor for the Carabins.
Child with a heavy attack trying to go down the line, but unable to find the court. Just touches wide of the sideline.
Like the speed on that set though from Nolan Langley. Got it fast to the outside for Child, something that is very crucial if you do want to try to score against a team who blocks as well as the Carabins.
Go to Child once again, who's able to spring up, get the attack over top of Bayron Trudel and Xiong on that one.
Child able to find the very small seam that was in that Montreal block for the kill. Good attack by him. Like Langley going right back to his new left side, trying to find that connection here.
Deep serve. Chauncey to the outside. Bayron Trudel rolls down the line. Olivier Riopel out. Chauncey to the outside. And off the block that time from Batty. Off hands and out of play. And the 6-point lead restored for 5-point lead restored. The score guys a little quicker than I am in terms of trying to process. 14-9 the lead though for Montreal. As Xiong back to serve. Comes in tight, and the overpass from the Lancers leads to an attack in the middle from Dagenet. That's not anyone you want to give a free attack to, Tom.
Absolutely not, serving that one up on a silver platter for number 16 there in the middle. And he will happily take a swing at that one.
And tough on serve receive there. And a miscommunication coming across from the Lancers on the free ball. Chauncey to the outside. Bayron Trudel off the block there of Child. Goes out of play, and that'll take us to the third set. Technical timeout. 16-9 is the lead for the Montreal Carabins, who are in cruise control right now, Tom. They dominated that second set by a 25-10 scoreline. It was 25-18, I believe, in the first set. A couple of replays upcoming here, Tom, for the second set early on here. Your third set, again, Montreal in command here. Another look for the attack out of the middle though from Moat. Great swing there from him.
But Windsor has done a better job this set, putting Montreal in trouble with their serve and passing the ball just a little bit better, allowing Langley to have, a little more time, be a little more comfortable up at the net, with more options to run rather than just having to go out of system to one of the pins. But Windsor really going to have to make a push now if they want to try to get themselves back into this game, extend this match. Definitely going to start with their passing, and as well, like we said for most of this game, just have to take care of the ball when it's on their side of the floor. They've had a lot of unforced errors on their attack, but lots of credit to the Montreal defense.
7-point lead coming out of the technical timeout. Xiong still serving for the Carabin, spoils that one. The floater a little bit too hard going out the back. And we'll get a substitution now as Xiong will get a nice reward for a service error coming to the bench.
As we see Sad Elberkey. Elbekry. My phonetic's not too great on that one, but
Elbekry.
Elbekry. Thank you, Kyle.
You're welcome. Dagenet with a hard attack going down the line. So 17-10 the lead now, as Godefroy Véron-Trudel back to the service line for Montreal. We'll see if the Lancers are going to use their second timeout. May as well. Upcoming if this service run is a lengthy one by Véron-Trudel. Good set there from Langley up to Childs.
Just nowhere for Child to go on that one as he laughs about it. He knows hit it right into the arms of Dagenet, and that's not going to result in a kill too many times, especially when he gets there on time like he did on that last play.
Dagenet with the block says Child please, and now goes to the bench. And a service error though back the other way as Véron-Trudel goes the length of the court. 18-11 is the lead. And the float comes over the top and almost hammered back there. And a hard swing across by Batty comes cross court. And the lead is now 8 for Montreal, up 19-11.
I know what you call. I'm very excited to watch Batty play over the next couple of years here. His career is just getting started in his first year for the Carabin. Tremendous amount of power behind that out-of-system attack, going deep cross for the kill.
And takes a bit off. Child with a nice pickup on receive. And rolls off the back. Batty, though, in deep six, able to play it up. Comes across. Great swing, though, coming that time from Adam Maiden on the left side. Great location on the attack. So back to serve again will be Batty. 20-11, the lead now for the Carabin. Deep serve, handled by Rankit. Set inside, great attack there by Moat. And good pace on the ball though from Langley.
Yeah, great pass from Rankit to set up the opportunity for Moat to get the kill there. Passing always making life so much easier for your setter, for your hitters.
20-12 the lead. Reminder upcoming the national semifinals. We'll get to that in a moment as the joust is there. Has Chauncey arguing that the Lancers had come under the net.
Looks like someone was on the net, not sure who.
Actually a pretty decent set coming across there from Yassine Cassis, but maybe a little bit unexpected on the attack from Maiden, but drops in for the point for Windsor.
Seeming to try to force the middle there. Definitely not going to be expecting that when it's not coming out of the hands of Chauncey.
And you see Chauncey giving appreciation there to Cassis. Overpass upcoming this time, and Chauncey with a great joust battle one at the net. And that's a great dimension to bring in if you're a setter, to be able to press that strong at the net, as you see some subs coming in now for Montreal.
Yeah, Chauncey's giving nowhere for Windsor to go on that last block. Recognizing early the ball was going back on their side and electing not to try to go up and set it with one or two hands, rather just turn in, put his hands up, able to come down with the block.
So for those that are just joining us or did not see any of the action yesterday or are unfamiliar with the playoff situation, it is a bracket top. So we'll see our first national semifinal coming up at 6 o'clock between the top seeded Trinity Western Spartans and the host 5th seeded McMaster Marauders, and following should be a doozy between Alberta and UBC. Alberta upsetting UBC in the Canada West semifinal before dropping the final to Trinity Western, but It should be a great matchup at the 8 o'clock game as well, and should be a good match between Trinity and McMaster, especially if the Burridge Gymnasium is packed as it was yesterday, which certainly played a factor in McMaster's comeback to come back from 2 sets down.
Yeah, the atmosphere in here last year was absolutely incredible, and I know McMaster hoping for the same turnout again on this championship Saturday night. And like you said, Kyle, the game after that will be a terrific volleyball match with the UBC Thunderbirds taking on the Alberta Golden Bears. Not only a rematch of the Canada West semifinal from this year, but also the national semifinal from last season. And a rematch as well with the Trinity Western Spartans taking on McMaster. So it's the exact same Final Four, and they are falling in the exact same semifinal matchups as we saw just a year ago.
Chauncey's serve goes just long. It goes out of play. 23-15 is the scoreline in favor of Montreal, closing in on a 3-0 sweep here in the consolation semi. 1 point closer on the service error, that time from Windsor, brings us to match point. And it's been pretty clinical since the start of the second set here, even parts of that first set for Montreal, who've been in command all the way here, Tom.
Absolutely. Windsor really just kind of came out. They struggled offensively, as we see the miss-serve there from the Carabin. But Windsor not really able to get much offense going. They were shut down well last night by the Spartans and have continued to struggle attacking-wise here today, but a team that I don't think is going to be going away anytime soon, especially in the OUA.
A short or long serve there from Hillman puts it into the third set and the match. Tough way to end the season for the Windsor Lancers on a service error. But it was all Montreal here in the consolation semifinal number 2. They'll take on the UNB Varsity Reds tomorrow in the consolation championship for 5th place, as Montreal wins 25-18, 25-10, 25-16, and take the match 3-0. Join us at 6 p.m. for the first set between the McMaster Marauders and the Trinity Western Spartans. And thanks for joining us here all weekend long on USports Live. I'm Kyle Campo for Tom McCabe, and we'll see you in about 2 hours' time for the national semifinal.